and welcome to Season 2, Episode 31 of the Big at the Back podcast. I'm joined by Matthew Higgins, and my name is Thomas Madden. Matt, I think you've got a nice surprise for me today.
Oh, I have. It's a nice surprise for you. It's a nice surprise for everyone. You're going to have a little FPL quiz, sort of, but you'll see when we come to it. We'll kick it off fairly soon. It'll be something fun to sink your teeth into in this international break, something to pass the time, if nothing else. But how are you anyway?
I'm considerably worse now I've heard that. I'm fully expecting to get 0. I guess I'm okay. Very apprehensive now. We haven't done a quiz since, probably about a year when I quizzed you on who had the most FPL points, player X or player B. X or B?
X or B? That's an interesting way of doing it. Just to throw this out there, unbelievably, Scotland are currently 1-0 up against Spain.
Who was it that got this goal? I saw
Scott McTominay with an Andy Robertson assist. Excellent. Must be a corner, surely.
Yeah, you expect a corner. I saw there was a Scotland player on Bet365 at 2-1 to
John McGinn. Yeah, I backed it.
Yeah, I didn't. I just don't.
I hated it, but I backed it.
I just didn't think that Scotland would have a single shot on target. But interesting.
Prove them wrong early doors.
Well, I said to you, next year, from the start of next season, I'm going to do a Bet365 tally of only backing BetBoost or only backing the Super Boost and see where that ends up. So start with like 30 quid in there and just £10 on every single Super Boost that we see over the course of the season and see what we end up with. It could be minus 200. It could be plus 400. Who knows? It's going to be good fun.
Yeah, I think that sounds very fun until you lose all your money.
Yeah, well, just on that basis, we should definitely start at Big at the Back betting funds and keep everyone updated as well. Maybe we'll do that when you're in a bit calmer financial waters.
when I have a job lined up, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Then again, I could just gamble all of my redundancy money.
I wouldn't call it gambling if it's a sure thing. Harry Maguire will score a header. You just don't know when.
Missed a free header against Ukraine right at the end. What a prick.
That would have got me so much money. Oh, very upsetting.
Oh, well. Anyway, that being said, do you want to dive into your little FPL test of the day?
No, but we have to move this podcast along, so I guess we should.
So this actually, it harks back to a little feature I did last year during an international break. So I have found out what an FPL squad would look like. So 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders and 3 forwards of the highest scoring English players in FPL this season. And what I need you to do is name... It will go in order of the positions, the high scoring English FPL players. So let's kick things off with the goalkeepers. Who are the 2 high scoring English goalkeepers in FPL this season?
Well, the first one's going to be easy, right? Because that's Aaron Ramsdale.
Correct.
Oh, no, the second one's going to be easy as well. Nick Pope.
Correct.
Obviously.
Ramsdale on 112 and Pope on 111.
I was actually thinking back to last season and thinking Foster.
He's now racking up points in the National League fantasy.
Legends. Cool. Two for 2. I'm on a
2 for 2. It can only go downhill from here.
Oh, shit.
So, next up, your defenders. Give me 5 defenders, the 5 highest scoring English defenders in FPL.
Oh, God. Trippier.
Correct. 154 points. He's top.
Top scoring defender this season. That's an easy one. Ben White?
He is in second place with 121.
Okay, so that's the easy one. By the way, I guess Trent Alexander-Arnold has got to be there.
He is the 4th highest on 96. So you've got the 3rd and 5th to go.
So this is where it gets difficult because I know John Stones has been injured a lot and City haven't been great for clean sheets, so I'd not include him. Harry Maguire hasn't been playing. Luke Shaw.
He is not in there. He's had his injury problems, and I think he's really come back since the World Cup.
Yeah, you forget that before the World Cup, he just wasn't particularly good. I hate this name that I'm about to say, but it could be right. James Tarkovsky.
It's not. I'd love it to be true, but it's not in there.
Thank God. How many guesses have I got left, by the way?
I'll give you another 2 guesses.
Okay. Ben Mee.
Correct. He is number 3 on 107 points.
Can I still have 2 more guesses?
Yeah, go on. So I'll give you 2 incorrect guesses.
Okay, so Tyrone Mings.
No. Last guess.
Oh, goodness me.
This is a little bit more of a it's not rogue, but it's not obvious either.
So I'm thinking it's not going to be Arsenal, it's not going to be Man United, it's not going to be Man City, it's not going to be Liverpool, it's not going to be Chelsea, it's not going to be Newcastle. Maybe Brighton, maybe Lewis Dunk. I'm not convinced on that. I'll come back to the Lewis Dunk potential. You've really got me thinking here. It's not.
I could see the cogs turning.
It's not going to be a Southampton. It's not going to be. I guess Lewis Dunk is the one. Yeah, Lewis Dunk. Final answer.
Incorrect. You mentioned a team and said it's not going to be them. It's Dan Burn.
Oh, for God's sake.
On 95, only 1 below Trent.
He's just so forgettable, though.
He is. That's the problem. He is just. You're like, oh well. Especially he's like this really lanky bloke playing at left back. It's just.
yeah, he's completely forgettable. Been brilliant, but completely forgettable. Okay, so I got all but one of the defenders. So how many midfielders are there?
There are 5 midfielders, and I feel like you should do pretty well. Here on out, I think you should. I'm going to say you're going to get 7 out of the last 8 at least.
Okay.
So no pressure. Give me some midfielders.
Marcus Rashford.
He is second on 156.
Seconds? Oh, God. I thought he would be number 1, surely.
Again, he's someone that's really come on post-World Cup, isn't he? So
yeah, I suppose. Phil Foden.
He is 4th on 109.
James Maddison.
He's number 5 on 105. So you're missing the top and the 3rd highest scorers.
This is going to be ridiculous, isn't it? Who am I missing? Okay.
It's so obvious when you think about it.
I know, but I'm just completely drawing a blank. Goodness. Okay, so English midfielders in the Premier League. So let's go through. Manchester City, no, because you've got none of their forwards are English apart from Foden. Okay, they're right on. Arsenal, Bukayo Saka, obviously.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. 170 points.
Can you imagine if I didn't get Bukayo Saka?
Yeah, bear in mind he's like in everyone's teams as well.
So what am I missing? Number 3.
Number 3. This is the one I feel like you might struggle with a little bit more, but it's gettable.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this logically. So at Arsenal, you've got Bukayo Saka, and then their other high-performing assets are non-English. You've got Manchester United, where you've already got Marcus Rashford, who's racking up all the points. You've got Liverpool, no.
You're saying Curtis Jones isn't in there?
Get out. Can't believe Jordan didn't make it again. Perhaps Newcastle would be 2 rogue. I think if you look at their players that have done well, it's Almiron and St. Maximin, so that's a no. It's not Will Zaha. It can't be Will Zaha. I will not accept it being Will Zaha.
Also, technically, although he is English, he represents the Ivory Coast, so
yeah, so probably doesn't count anyway. Perhaps a Brighton. No, I can't, because Brighton's main hitters have been. No, Gross is Belgian, I think, isn't he, Pascal Gross?
is he Belgian or French? I can't remember.
Yeah, so I don't think it's him. I obviously don't think it's him. Oh goodness me! So this is a really tricky one. I'm gonna go for third though. Third, that's tricky. James Ward-Prowse.
It is not James Ward-Prowse. Again, I'll give you 3 guesses here. So that's one gone.
Oh goodness me! I figured James Ward-Prowse because he gets lots and lots of bonus points. Okay. I'm thinking, what other teams have been doing well? Brentford, perhaps, but no, most of their points come to Ivan Toney. Fulham, again, not really, because it's been Pereira and Mitrovic that have racked everything up. Oh, you're really putting me on the spot here. It's not going to be a West Ham player because they're shit.
Can't argue with that.
Leicester, everything goes through James Maddison. Oh, I'm really struggling here. I don't know. I give up on this position.
Again, it's a team you have mentioned. You dallied on them for a little while. It's Brighton.
No.
It's Solly March.
Oh, yeah. I thought because he did nothing for the first half of the season, I thought he wouldn't be there, but he's obviously
119 points. Wow. So, 10 more than Foden, and still quite a way off of Marcus Rashford. So he was the one that I thought, like I say, you might struggle against. But here, I think you get this is an open goal. Who are the 3 highest scoring English strikers in FPL this season?
I'm going to hazard a guess.
No, it's not Eden Hazard.
Then it might, and I'm not certain on this, Harry Kane might be there.
He is. He scrapes in with 182, being the highest scoring English player this season.
Yeah, that's not really. And then Ivan Toney as the seconds for obvious reasons. Again,
145.
Open goal. And the third one, Callum Wilson, maybe. I'm not sure. No, Wilson's barely scored any goals this season.
He started well, and then basically he's fallen off a cliff.
Is the third option? Is the third one an open goal? Is it really obvious that I'm missing out?
I feel like it's fairly obvious.
Okay, let's go through this logically. So again, it's not Liverpool. It's not United. Could it be City? No, it's not City. It's not going to be Chelsea. It's not. Could it? No, it's not going to be Tottenham. Oh, I'm really struggling on this one.
I like this. He's squirming.
Is Dom Solanke in the conversation? I'm really outside of Wilson. I struggle to think who else it could be. Have Arsenal got anyone going on? Nketiah, but he's only played for 5 games or something and only been good for one of them. As you know well. And that one was before you transferred him in.
Yeah, let's not talk about him.
I am really struggling with this. If only Iheanacho was English.
You can dream. You're going to kick yourself.
I'm going to go Wilson.
It's not Wilson.
Who was it?
This man is the 4th highest scoring striker in FPL. He's been in a good run of form recently. It's Ollie Watkins.
Yeah. You know when one name, it was that one name that just wasn't coming.
And who, like Aston Villa, they're just such a meh team.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think I did terribly considering.
Not bad at all. So that was a total of 12 out of 15.
I'll take it.
Not bad at all. Well done. I will give you a B+.
I'll take that. And listeners, both of you, let us know how you got on as well. It'll be interesting to see if I was the best score or what's more likely the worst score of the week so far. I'll rerun some more quizzes with you later down the season, I think.
No, I'm all right, thanks.
I know how much you love doing quizzes. Let's dive into a bit of FPL then. We've both had very, very busy weeks. So I haven't really looked that much at my wild card, but how's yours looking at the moment?
So it's fairly crap.
That's how I feel as well. I feel like the solution is there. I just don't know where.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple of things with mine. So I've stuck with the two keepers of Steele and Iverson because I just feel like that's a bit. Them both being less than 4 million is just a bit of a no-brainer at the moment. The one thing I really hate is I've got Pedro Porro in it, and he's just, I don't know. I thought it might be funny.
Have you got 3 Arsenal?
My 3 Arsenal are Zinchenko, Saka, and Martinelli as it stands.
So I was going to say drop him for 1 Arsenal. Yeah, he hasn't even got a double game week. Like, what are you doing? Like,
well, it sounds funny though, doesn't it? It does sound funny. Especially as Emerson Royale's out for like 6 weeks now. He's pretty much guaranteed to start.
Honestly.
Well, yeah.
That's really interesting, actually. But you don't
does that make Spurs a less attractive proposition in general? The real question mark and something that we have to consider here is Haaland could be touch and go for this week. And that's according to his dad, who is, who I get all of my football injury news from. So if Haaland isn't fit for this weekend, not that we'll know beforehand, because you know what Pep's like. Mm-hmm. Do you drop him for this weekend? And if so, what do you do next week and like 2 weeks down the line, for example?
It's difficult. So a lot of people have had dropped him already and weren't even planning on bringing him back in until after the blank in 32. So I think the fact that he's a doubt means it's justification for those people. That being said, the fact that he's a yellow flag, he might have an injury, people are going to not bring him in because of that. You can guarantee he plays and scores a hat-trick against Liverpool. He's not leaving my team. I don't care if his dad says he's injured. The first player on my son's bench at the moment is Harry Kane. So I'm fine with it.
Kane being a first sub when his game is Everton is so feels like it could kill you.
It feels disgusting. However, my squad at the moment is the only real thing I may rebalance it. I'm not sure, but yeah, at the moment my first sub is Harry Kane with the squad I have right now. If I could only play one defender, I would. I've gone quite small at the back, so maybe I need to change it up.
You're disgusting. You absolutely sicken me.
I know. So talk me through where your squad is right now, and we'll go through mine afterwards.
So, like I say, Steele and Everson are the keepers, and defence looks a little something like Ben Chilwell, Zinchenko, Trippier, Emerson, as in West Ham Emerson, and Pedro Porro, which I don't love, but I mean, Emerson I don't mind because of the double and a good game after that as well. But Porro, I don't know. Part of me just thinks I'll just leave him there because, why not? But part of me also hates it and feels like there must be a better option out there. Midfield 5 of Saka, Martinelli, Mitoma, Maddison and Rashford. Again, Rashford also yellow flagged, so that's something we have to keep an eye on coming out of this international break. And then Haaland, Kane and Isak as the front 3, which I do quite like that front 3, to be fair. Isak's a man in form. Haaland is Haaland, and Kane also in good form and good fixtures despite not having a double. But yeah, it's just that Pedro Porro. Other than that, I don't hate it, but I don't love it, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I think you can tinker around with that and find the squad you like. I've decided I hate mine. Mine needs to completely change. Just as we're talking, at least I need to change the structure of it a little bit. So where I am at the moment is I've got Steele in goal with Iverson on a bench. Then for the double, I've got 3 at the back of Emerson, Trippier, and Wout Faes.
That is what?
I've just said it needs to change. It's going to change. on this screen.
Were you actually looking at your screen when you picked this team, or were you did you like auto pick?
I don't know. It was any Leicester defender that's playing, and I didn't think about it. Then I looked at it for the first time in like 5 days and thought, oh dear.
I mean, I know, to be fair, I know their fixtures are good, but their defense is terrible.
Yeah,
at least if you're going to put a defender in it, you've got to go like Castagna or someone who might actually get something going forward.
That Faes is going to be leaving my team.
Please leave him in.
And the reason is, then I've got a midfield 5 of I can't. Oh, but
right, compose yourself.
A midfield 5 of James Maddison, Marcus Rashford, Mitoma, and McAllister, and then Salah with the armband.
Terrible choice.
Up front, I've got Isaac and Haaland.
Salah with the armband against City, you fucking psychopath.
And Chelsea, both away as well. Liverpool suck away. Oh, I need to rejig this. I can't have Salah, can I? But I'm not sure. I don't know. Then I've got Kane, White, and Zinchenko on my bench. All 3 players that should definitely be starting. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where this squad or this lineup came from. I hate it. I'm gonna completely change it over the next week.
This is what happens when you don't drink.
Yeah, like clearly not drinking has been bad for me. It's hampered my brain. I don't like who I'm becoming.
If you're gonna have any player with a first name Wout in your FPL team, we all know it's got to be Weghorst.
Yeah, like I can't even defend this team at the moment. I mean, Liverpool away suck, and they're playing City away and Chelsea away in a double. What am I doing? Like, I don't understand.
I almost feel like you should stick with it now, because we've taken the piss out of it so much. It will probably like get massive returns. Salah hat trick in each game.
Shall we screenshot this and see how many points it got?
Yes. Definitely.
I'll take a screenshot on my phone now and send it to you, and we can compare in maybe the next it won't be the next podcast because it's double game week. The podcast afterwards, how it's done comparatively, because this is changing quite dramatically, and this is going to be rebalanced. What I'm going to do is probably remove McAllister. I want to triple up on Brighton, so. My thought process is I will move McAllister out for a Brighton defender.
Estupiñán?
No, because he's away to Australia and then they play 3 days later. He's a doubt for the double. Like he'll probably.
But the second game in that double is Bournemouth.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
It's a tricky one. It's a fine balance in it. They're actually playing in Australia.
I think so, which is why I actually think Veltman might be a good shout as well. Has he been playing? Like player information. So let's see. 6-1, only 1 point against Leeds. Oh, they conceded 2, that's why. 13 points against West Ham, then 2-5. So I think Veltman's a good option as well. He's on the other wing. He's typically playing a lot of games. Yeah. He came on as a sub against Liverpool, but he's been consistently playing since then. So Joel Veltman, welcome back to my fantasy football team.
I tell you what, Ecuador Australia has already happened.
All right.
He actually scored. It was a penalty. Why is he on penalties? But yeah, so that has happened. So he will be on his way back to the UK probably as we speak. I know it's quite a long flight, but I think he'll make it in time.
In that case, he's in my team. Estupiñán. Then
can't wait for him to start on the bench.
That would be a nightmare. I mean, then I'll lose Salah and McAllister, so I've got 17.7 million to play with for 2 midfielders. Let's rebalance this.
Zaha.
Imagine. Absolutely. Zaha and the Roy Hodgson as well.
Mate, he is going to be on fire.
I can't think of anything less fun.
Get Jared Bowen in.
I don't hate it. I think that could be quite fun. Yeah, having Jared Bowen in.
I mean, you'll almost certainly regret it come Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I would just be having him for this double. So 2 midfielders.
And then Fulham without half of their team and manager have been suspended for going absolutely crazy during the FA Cup. But
what teams? I tell you, it gives me opportunity to get him Riyad Mahrez.
Harvey Barnes.
No, Riyad Mahrez is in my team. Phil Foden is out for 6 weeks, which means Mahrez is very, very likely to start every Premier League game. What that means for me is that Mahrez will be on the bench for every Premier League game, as I've got him in my FPL team. So
yeah, I will make sure I'm definitely not bringing him in then.
But it means that I've got 10.4 for my last pick. Do I just get Saka back? Or do I go Martinelli? No, I don't go Martinelli just because Trossard and Martinelli both in great form. They're probably going to start rotating again.
Yeah, I think Saka's the one that makes sense, especially with Jesus coming back as well. I know, but then again, Martinelli did well when Jesus came back in. So it's really hard to say how they're going to line up. They are Saturday. Yeah, they're Saturday 3:00. It's such a tricky one for me, that, because I feel like Saka. Oh,
I'm going to free hit in 32. So I'll make those transfers, confirm transfers on a wildcard anyway. Yeah, brilliant. I like it a lot. So it means I can start Harry Kane in for Mahrez. Thank you very much. Move Zinchenko to first sub, Mahrez to last sub. That looks a lot better. So my team is Steele in goal, then Estupinian, Trippier, and Emerson. Then across the middle is James Maddison, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, and Mitoma. Then up front is Kane, Isaac, and Haaland with Zinchenko as first sub.
That sounds a lot better.
It does. It's definitely
sounds a lot less funny. So
I don't know what was that. It's the Mo Salah problem. That's what it is. It's premium, just makes it very, very difficult. But I quite like having Bruno in there as well. He's the most hateable player in the world, but also he could be really good. Is Casemiro still banned? It probably is, right?
He is, because he's got a 4-match ban because it's his second red card of the season.
For God's sake. He just doesn't want to play, clearly. I mean, in game week 30, 30 and 31, United have Everton and Nottingham Forest. So I think doubling up on them is probably a sensible move. Whereas Arsenal actually have Liverpool and West Ham. And I'm going to free hit 32 anyway. Then Arsenal have Man City afterwards. I could move one of my Arsenal defenders to Luke Shaw and have treble United at the back. I think that sounds reasonable.
I was thinking about Shaw to replace Pedro Porro, but my issue is I don't have the free hit for 32, so I can't stock up too much. As things stand with this squad, I have 3 outfield players that will blank in 32, which is fine. If I go anywhere up, I'm obviously banking a transfer at some point between now and then. I currently have 4 that blank, so I'm already banking a transfer. So if I go for a 5th, I feel like that's a little bit too much work to work around. Whereas if I just stick with that, I can just make one transfer between now and then and I'll be fine.
Yeah, fair enough. It does mean as well that, do I bench Kane for Emerson?
You know what I'm going to say.
Yes, do it, because West Ham are massive.
Yeah, that is exactly right.
No, I'll have Emerson on my bench. So I've just made that move. So Ben White to Luke Shaw. It's a shame because I have loved owning Ben White this season. But it means my squad is set up a bit better. So it's Steele, Estupinian, Trippier, Shaw, Maddison, Fernandes, Rashford, Mitoma, Kane, Isaac, Haaland. Who on earth do I captain in that?
Oh, it's so hard, isn't it?
Is Mitoma an option? Like, they've got Brentford at home. Brentford aren't as good away, and then Bournemouth away.
I really don't know.
Do I go James Maddison against Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace?
Yes, and then Villa at home. Maddison is a shout, but I feel like form players are just more the way to go. I'd be tempted by Isak.
Oh, that would be very bold. I like it. There's quite a few different options. Is Trippier worth a punt as well?
He's always an option.
Particularly
But
for the West
yeah,
Ham. I don't know. The captaincy is, for me, is Isak, Mitoma. If Rashford's fit, then he's an option. I quite like it though at the moment because I've got Treble United. They've got a really, really nice run of fixtures. And then game week 33, I can just move Shaw out back for an Arsenal defender. Maybe not an Arsenal defender because they've got City away. Oh God, Arsenal's fixtures are horrible.
they turn.
So taking out game week 32, which I'm going to free hit 3 Arsenal win anyway. Their fixtures are Liverpool away, West Ham away. Then it's 32, which I'll have three of them for, Southampton. Then it's City away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away, Brighton at home. Then game week 37 and 38, it's Forest and Wolves. But I'm whisper it quietly because I could touch wood. I could very much regret this. I'm okay having one Arsenal for this running.
It's you got to think doubles as well.
Yeah. Have Arsenal got many to be rearranged?
I think they've got one, haven't they?
Yeah, which will probably go into 34. No, it won't go into 34. That's done. So it'll go into 37.
Which could be a nice one with Forest.
Yes, but I've got more than enough time to make.
Yeah, that's so far away. Oh, I'll tell you what, that City double in 34 is fucking tasty.
Yeah, that's if you've got your treble captain, you're using it then.
100%.
I'm setting up. So I've got 2 players already in my squad for that, so I can look to get whoever else is informed. I think with City as well, you just go 3 attackers. You go Grealish, Haaland, and Mahrez, most likely. They're the obvious 3. Maybe you go Alvarez on a punt, but yeah, I think they sound the most fun.
No, go John Stones.
I could go John Stones, maybe. I'm not saying it's not an option, but yeah, the double in 34 is almost certainly when I'll be bench boosting. Because if you're looking at the teams doubling, it's Brighton, it's Fulham, who you're not going to touch, admittedly, especially with City and Liverpool. It's Liverpool, it's Man City, it's Man United, and then it's West Ham again. But if you look at the teams I'm going to own, it's going to be like I'll have 3 City, I'll have 3 United. Newcastle have got Southampton, so I'll have 2 of them. I'll have Emerson from West Ham, and maybe I'll pull in Benrahma or Bowen, and I'll have 3 Brighton. So I think I'm almost certainly going to be bench boosting them.
Yeah, it sounds like the most sensible time to do it. I think that's probably the same for me as well. Obviously, without having the triple captaincy left, it's a no-brainer for both of us. That's the most sensible time to do it. But I think I will be in a similar situation to there. Hopefully, like I say, I haven't got that free hit to fall back on, but I've got the Brighton assets. I'll have City, I'll have United. With those transfers between now and then, I think there's plenty of time for me to make that work. But that being said, this running, it really does feel like we're in the home stretch now, doesn't it? It's all of a sudden we're talking like looking ahead and we're looking at like game weeks 36, 37. And you're like, that has come around so quickly.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it feels like this is the Matt Higgins stretch. This is where I've normally gone through a complete capitulation at this point of the season based on history. This is where I start slowly creeping back. But this is where you start flying. So between 25 and 29 is normally my entire capitulation. It's not happened as badly this season, mainly because I wasn't doing as well as I have been in previous years. But this is where you basically start charging and start just flooding green arrows. So talk me through what you think, what the problem is with your wildcard at the moment, and how are you setting yourself up for this run?
So the current starting 11, I have taken Pedro Porro out. It saddens me. But I've brought Ben Mee in instead. Someone that has a double. He's fairly reliable. Like we said, he's in the top scoring English FPL team of the season. They got a double, not the best double, but I might not even start him looking at the rest of my side. He doesn't blank in 32, which is obviously good for me and has a good fixture then as well. So that works for me. So my current starting 11 is still, or that might become Iverson. I'm undecided between the two. Trippier, Emerson, Chilwell, Mitoma, Saka, Maddison, Rashford, Haaland, Isaac, Kane. And then that leaves me with the other keeper, whoever I decide on the bench, with me, Zinchenko and Martinelli as things stand. That could change. The armband's the really tricky one, though. I really do not know. But I feel like that's a fairly well-rounded squad. I think Mitoma will come out before that 32, just because the next couple of fixtures are a bit trickier. But who comes in for that? I don't really know. I don't have much in the bank now that's happened. I think I've got 0.1, so not much to play with. But I think I can make this work. Whether this is the start of my comeback, I'm not so sure.
We'll have to wait and see on that. But either way, I'm looking forward to what the next few weeks are going to bring. Armband-wise, I really don't know. At the moment, I've got it sitting on Mitoma, but do you feel like a Maddison captaincy could be more fun? I think Mitoma is going to be highly captained.
I'd imagine he would be. The Maddison captaincy has so much more scope for a swing in emotions. I feel like he's the kind of guy that could get fucking sent off in the first game. He loves a yellow card anyway. You never know with him. But he could, I feel like he's not going to have a massive captaincy percentage, but I feel like there will be a fair few people that go for him. And if he goes off, it could really pay off.
Yeah, and I might do it, just to have some fun. And if I fall a million places, I fall a million places.
If you fall a million places, then that's impressive.
I'll still be ahead of you, though. Well, not if you don't captain Maddison.
Yeah, cheers for that, prick.
That's all right. At least you've got a great job to fall back. Oh
wow. He's gone there. He's gone there.
Oh, well.
With friends like that, who needs enemies, eh?
Well, we're all looking forward to the Premier League kicking back off. I feel like it's been a nice break and relaxing reset period, but I'm ready to start watching and playing football again. What are you thinking in terms of bets this weekend? Because I'm going to put so many on.
You know what? Lots of goals in the City-Liverpool game.
Yeah, agreed.
But then again, early kickoffs on the Saturday. Sometimes they fall into a bit of a trap where
kickoff. That's going to be no, for God's sake! Liverpool in the early kickoff is horrible. Like in the early kickoff this season on a Saturday, we've played 6, lost 5, and then the draw was that horrible 0-0 in the game against Chelsea. That was the worst game of football ever. Oh no!
Sorry to have ruined your weekend already.
That's going to be awful. I'm going to be so annoyed and angry the whole weekend. I'm glad I don't have Salah now.
Yeah, that is one thing to sort of hang your hat on. But I have the benefit of I'll be out in London on Saturday. I'll be watching it up the city. So that could be an interesting one. Arsenal will walk over Leeds, you'd like to think. I'd be tempted to back Bournemouth over Fulham just because, obviously, the lack of Mitrovic. I reckon they could be decent odds as well. That's my little tip of the week.
Interesting. So back for them.
Yes, definitely.
Brilliant. Well, look, FPL wise, we are looking forward to it a lot more than I am the actual football, which is going to be an absolute. I mean, if Haaland's fit, you're playing him, so don't move Haaland out of your teams, guys, because he's going to absolutely have so much fun. Liverpool away to City in the early kickoff. Recipe for disaster. You can find us on Twitter at @BigAtTheBack.
Yeah, and I'm at Higgins92. Tom is at TomMadden92. Enjoy what's left of the international break before we come crashing back down to the non-stop world of FPL, which it will be over the next few weeks. Just remember, it is a game. Try to enjoy it. Try and see the funny side in it, like when Tom had Wout Faes in his wildcard team.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was happening there. I think getting too inside my own brain, but I
Take me back to that time.
We've got a screenshot, so we're going to test it. I can't wait for Wout Faes to get like 24 points or something ridiculous now.
Imagine.
Amazing. Have a good week, guys. We'll look forward to speaking to you all very soon.